So I think the most frustrating thing about dating for me in the past 4 years has just been the lack of control that I'm able to have over my dating life and over what happens in my dating life. Basically, I've always just been a lover girl, and I'm the type of person that likes to go after what I want, and I feel like I'm very open-minded, and I feel like I see the best in people, but I've just been having the worst luck in the past 4 years to the point where I just feel like it's just time for the lover girl in me to die, and I'm just...
Bad luck, gentlemen, is the excuse that we have for today's video. So welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the desert, gentlemen, as we're gonna watch this video of a woman trying to rationalize why she has been unsuccessful at dating for over a decade, and then we'll move on to our article story because Reddit needs our wisdom yet again. But gentlemen, hope you have a good one. Please like and subscribe if you want to push this content to more men, and now let's get started.
Done with dating, and I don't want to date anymore finally. I feel like usually in the past after my breakups I would be sad for like a little bit, but then I'd be kind of like ready to go back on the apps and ready to go meet new people, and there was always like a possibility of like, oh well, there has to be like somebody else out there, right? Like there has to be somebody better out there for me, and I still always never really gave up. In the past 4 years I've dated 3 people seriously, and all of them somehow turned out to be emotionally unavailable or avoidant, and I didn't really even know what that meant until I was like 23 and dating again after my long-term relationship. And the first person I dated afterwards ended up being emotionally unavailable / avoidant, and we had like a regular talking stage, and then we dated officially for like a month and a half, and then suddenly they're like, oh, never mind, like I just realized I'm not ready for a relationship. It's just so annoying.
You know, guys, a lot of women feel like they gain experience by dating, but the experience that you gain is by successfully dating and successfully managing a relationship with someone. Just because you've had your heart broken 15 times, that doesn't translate to actual experience. In fact, it's the opposite. It makes you a liability, because who in his sane mind will say, well, I'm going to be number 12 who succeeds with this woman? She's already been past 11 men. She's already forgot her deep unconditional love 11 times. She's already been through heartbreak 11 times and moved on in a matter of weeks or even days. You know, it builds up this baggage that, to be honest, nobody should deal with.
Annoying because in that breakup the ex was like, yeah, I never really wanted to get into a long-term relationship, but I did get into one with you anyway because I thought that maybe I'd get over the fact that I didn't want to be in one, but I never did. And in my head I was just like, why would you willingly like put me through all this when you know that I wanted a long-term relationship and that I was serious? I was like, I will make sure to like not date an avoidant person. So I was like, okay, next time I'm going to make sure that the person that I date is open to commitment, says they want a long-term relationship, says they want marriage, says they want a family. I'm going to make sure that they put in effort and like pursue me. Next year I dated somebody who was in his 30s. He was like 32, I believe, and right off the bat he was like, yep, I'm looking for something serious, I want a family, I want marriage one day. And so things started off like serious between us, met all the married friends, like talked about moving in with him temporarily, treated me very well, was like romantic, was like very thoughtful and caring, was very supportive. Even when I told my friends like what he would do for me or like how he's treating me, they'd be like, oh my god, like he must really like you, he must be head over heels for you. It got to the point where it was time to commit to the relationship and to put a label on it, and he just couldn't do it because he said titles made him uncomfortable. I felt so misled that this person didn't really want to put a label on things after all of that had transpired, and I was like heartbroken again. But I was like, okay, like how can I prevent this situation from happening in the future?
Oh, I'll tell you how. Don't sleep with these men. You know, that, oh, he done, that is very outdated. We are a modern society. How can we not have S3X with each other? I mean, we're in a committed relationship. Well, I'm just telling you how things are. In the past, people saved S3X for after marriage because it mostly gets rid of all the people who don't have serious intentions. But hey, if modern people want to be modern, you know, because they know better, have at it, you know. But then we end up with people like these who just get played, and this happens on both sides. So this is men getting played, women getting played. Yeah, we're so modern, guys, in our society.
And I was like, okay, next time, on top of wanting somebody who is serious and wants commitment, I'm going to make sure that that person also has a history of long-term relationships, has some sort of like emotional intelligence, emotional maturity, has some sort of conflict resolution skills, like, is comfortable committing to the label of boyfriend and girlfriend, is not going to put that off for any reason. Yeah, when I got to New York, I was going on dates and I was finding guys that were like more open and seemed more like emotionally available. I had to end things with like 3 guys because they all had just broken up with their ex, and I I was like, what are you even doing on this app? Like, I can't talk to people like you. It's like, I don't want another emotionally unavailable man. And I was just like, okay, maybe the dating apps are just really full of avoidant or emotionally unavailable people. So I'm going to go meet somebody in real life. So then on a fateful day, I went to Central Park and I hit on a guy by asking him for a poop bag. And I went on a date with this guy and I was like, fine. But I could also tell from my past experiences that he was probably avoidant. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to swerve this guy too, because I truly in my heart only want to date somebody who's emotionally available. And in a few months, I hit on somebody in a cafe and everything suddenly like started to go really well. I felt like I vetted this person so hard. I got their relationship history and found out that they had been in a really long-term relationship. I found out that they were like in therapy and had been in couples counseling, and that they really valued emotional intelligence and conflict resolution in a partner. So I was like, okay, if he really wants somebody who has good conflict resolution skills and he really values somebody who is emotionally intelligent and emotionally mature, then he must have those qualities himself, because it's kind of crazy to expect for a partner to have those things but not have them.
Guys, before she continues, man, she doesn't shut up. She doesn't make pauses in between sentences. But I love how it's so funny. The way you impress women today, right? Like in the past, you would say, oh, I have a car, baby. Or I have a motorbike. Or I have this, I have that. You flex your muscles. No. The way you impress women nowadays is say, oh, I go to therapy. And emotional intelligence, oh, that is so deep. I love emotional intelligence. Like all these buzzwords, the word salads, that's how you impress them, guys. You know, tell them more, I have a college degree. Even if you don't have, like say you have a college degree in gender studies, and they will fall head over heels for you. So yeah, there's your new pickup lines, gentlemen.
Yourself, right? I was like, there's no way somebody would be like that, right? I was wrong. But this person was like so consistent in their words and actions, treated me so well, better than anyone had in my entire life. I thought he was the one. Even the way he looked at me like with heart eyes, and literally like all my friends and people on the internet were like, oh my god, like he's in love with you, like he's head over heels for you, he's obsessed with you, just based on the way he looks at you and based on all the things he does for you. And I met all his married friends and like we talked about a future, and it was all reciprocal and it felt so great, only to find out that this person was also emotionally unavailable at the very end. And it's just like, oh my gosh, like after this last time, that was my final straw. I spent so much time specifically.
Guys, if you're wondering, oh, Hidan, what does it mean that he was emotionally unavailable? Is there like a roulette that this woman spins and it lands on emotionally unavailable each time? No, the translation for that in real life is men who never liked her to begin with. They just want to have some fun. They're using her. That's all it is. It's not a magical roulette. It's not some type of division between people. No, when men know what they want, they're very upfront about it. I don't think that men are playing games, all these schemes, you know. It's very easy to notice if a man actually likes you or if he doesn't.
Specifically trying to avoid avoidant men and avoid emotionally unavailable men. And the only reason that I even was attracted to this person in the first place is because they seemed so emotionally open. They were able to be so vulnerable. They were able to have so many in-depth like conversations. And I felt like our emotional connection was so good. And they committed to the label very easily and acted very sure, and their words and actions aligned. And like the way they looked at me and like all the things they did for me, I was like, surely this person is emotionally available. You can.
And he was very attractive and probably tall. She forgot to mention.
Ask them, are you looking for a relationship? Like, do you feel like you're ready for a relationship? And they can say yes, but then, you know, either they lie or they just are so not self-aware that they don't even realize that they aren't ready for a relationship and they don't want one. So then they just drag you through this whole thing only for you to find out at the very end that they're actually emotionally unavailable. I feel like I've been so tricked and misled, and I've just been used as a stepping stone for all these men to discover things about themselves and discover that they're emotionally unavailable and discover the things they need to work on to be a better partner and a better relationship. They're always like, oh my god, I learned so many things. I don't regret the time we had together. And in my head, I'm just like, well, I do regret the time we had together, and I don't feel like I benefited that much. I feel like the only result that I got from these relationships is I just got more trauma and I got more.
Yeah, exactly. Now you may be thinking, Hiran, what if she really has bad luck? I mean, it could be, you know, maybe she really is trying. I don't trust her personally, but hey, there is a mathematical percentage that it could be true, you know. Maybe she really is trying, but she lands on the same emotionally unavailable men each time. And these guys apparently are Machiavellian good at lying, you know. So hey, at manipulating and all that. I just don't trust her, guys. It's the same story that all women will tell you. This is the type of woman that shows up to a date and tells you, oh, all my exes were bad, all my exes were narcissists, you know, and it's at that point that you regret wasting your time on that date. This is the type of woman. And most women share this story that coincidentally all their exes were bad people. Damn, guys, it appears that all women, all modern women in society just have this massive bad luck. What are the odds, gentlemen?
Trust issues, and I got more anxiety. How am I supposed to go on and date somebody else when, like, I don't even feel like I can trust words, actions, the way someone looks at you? Can't trust anything, because some people will just like switch on you in just a second, and it's like, okay, like I couldn't have predicted this, I couldn't have seen it coming, everything was right, there were so many green flags, and then suddenly it was over just like that. What the heck could I even have done to prevent this situation other than just like, I don't know, not trusting the person or not investing in the person? And it's like, if you don't really invest in somebody that much for the first like couple months or so until you get into like a major conflict or something, it's like, are you even like really fully enjoying that experience if you're kind of like having one foot out the door at all times? I don't know if that's like really authentic to me, but I guess that's the only thing I could have done in this situation, is to just not get invested and not really trust like the words or actions that were happening. It doesn't matter how hard I vet, like what I do. It doesn't matter how hard I try. If somebody wants to deceive me, or if somebody is so not self-aware that they don't recognize that they're emotionally unavailable, they are going to deceive me, and I'm not going to be able to do anything about that unless I actively decide to not really trust them and not trust their words or their actions until a certain point, which I don't even know when that would happen, because I've read so many stories online about people being blindsided by avoidance after like 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years in marriage. What the heck is the point of even dating and like falling in love and loving somebody if that...
Yeah, well, you could always even get married and then get cheated on, right? There are many stories like this. Wives, husbands cheating. So, two things. First off, don't spread your legs before you get to know them, all right? That's the first thing. Second thing, stop online dating. It has never worked for the vast majority of people. Just stop online dating. We used to successfully, for the most part, date and manage relationships between people for thousands of years before the invention of dating apps. So you don't need them, especially as a woman. You have so many options, which is another difference between men and women. That notice how this woman always has options, and she can always choose whether she wants to be in a relationship or not. This is a benefit that men don't have. So for men, let alone picking the right woman, we cannot even pick. Even if we wanted to pick the wrong woman, we can't. We don't have options. This woman, on the other hand, just thousands of them. And coincidentally, she always lands on a bad one. Just what are the odds, gentlemen? But anyway, stop online dating. It's trash, it's shit. Stop online dating.
That love has no security, and if that love is not consistent, if someone can just change their mind in 1 second and like walk away so easily, like what's the point in even investing and trying for a love? Like, I don't want a love that switches off after like a conflict, or that just changes after I ask for a need to be met or after I set a boundary. Like, I don't want a love like that. Like, that love is not like valuable to me. I feel absolutely helpless. Like with this last relationship, like I was so attracted to the fact that he seemed emotionally available, but if he had just acted like his real self the whole time, I would have never dated him. I feel like the only way for me to be in a relationship and like not get hurt in this day and age is for me to enter relationships not really investing that much and just kind of always having an exit plan and like a strategy to leave and like have one foot out the door and just be like anticipating. It's just like, what the hell is the point of entering a relationship if you can't even like trust the other person, and if there's no sense of security, and if you have one foot out the door at all times? Like, what the hell is the point of that? But it's starting to seem like that's the only mindset I could possibly have, so that I don't get hurt, or so I don't get bamboozled by these men that act emotionally available for the first couple months and then suddenly become emotionally unavailable after like a second. Whether I pursue somebody or whether they don't pursue me, it doesn't matter. The result is the same. Whether I meet somebody on a dating app or I don't, the result is the same. Whether their words and actions align or they don't, it's the same. Whether they enter a relationship with me or not, the result is the same. I try to be authentic and vulnerable so that I can have the chance to fall in love, because I just feel like if you have one foot out the door, you just are not really opening yourself up. I just don't even really want to date anymore because I'm just tired of getting my heart stomped on, tired of them blaming me for their emotional unavailability and not taking any accountability for their actions. Like, I know people are like, oh, it's just a phase you're going through because you're healing, but I genuinely just feel completely traumatized by this past breakup. I feel like the only person I can depend on in this world is myself. A man can be in therapy, a man could have gone to couples counseling, but that doesn't actually mean that he's self-aware, and it doesn't mean he has any relationship skills. And I finally just...
This woman is not even half bad, gentlemen, but the thing she's not being honest with is the fact that she has good guys in her life. She just doesn't choose them. She's not mentioning the fact that she has like 10 guys DMing her that actually want a relationship and that are upfront about it, that are not, you know, 50-50 or undecisive or uncertain. She has them. We know women. We all have that female friend who is overweight and still has options. So this woman is attractive. She's young. Are you really meaning to tell me all the options that you've had throughout your life are those unavailable men? No. She has good men in her life. She just doesn't like them. She doesn't feel attracted to them. It's at this point that you should be wondering, am I the one attracting the unavailable men? Could it be that it's not luck, but rather that I am attracting those because they are the only ones I pick? Which for me, guys, is the the case in this situation.
Just for once in my life, don't even want a relationship anymore. I don't even want to get married. I don't want to have a companion. I'd rather just be happy and depend on myself and know that I'm never going to betray me and know that I'm never going to do anything to hurt me. Last experience, like, I just don't even know how to trust anymore. And frankly, I don't really want advice because every single piece of advice I've ever been given about dating, I've already done. A lot of advice is actually quite useless because I feel like a lot of dating is just up to luck, because I just feel like even if you try your hardest to like not make mistakes or do this or that or do everything right, it doesn't matter because there's always going to be somebody else in the equation. And I just wonder if anyone else out there has also gotten to that point.
Have you tried picking the good man for a change? No, she hasn't. We know she hasn't, guys. We know she hasn't. But you let me know what you think, guys. Do you trust her? Will it be that I'm wrong and maybe she really is trying her hardest, there are just no good men left? Or maybe she doesn't have access to good men? Do you think that is the case? Or do you think they are there? They are just invisible to her? Well, you let me know. But now let's move on to our short article story. How can I win her back? So I, 19 male, was talking to this girl, 19 female, for a year, and about 2 months ago she stopped talking to me. We've had our ups and downs, but this time she completely stopped all contact with me. No blocking, but she didn't follow me on all platforms. She wasn't responding to me at all, so I messaged her sister to ask what had happened. Basically, she told me she was waiting for me to ask her to be in a relationship, ask her to be my girlfriend, and since I hadn't done it for a whole year, she decided to just move on. I asked if she was talking to anyone, and her sister said no, and by the looks of it, it doesn't look like she's talking to / dating anyone. But I really like this girl, and I really do want to be with her. What can I say to try and win her over again? Well, gentlemen, for today's article, we actually don't have something very cringe. We have genuine advice needed here. So you let me know, gentlemen, about this situation. The woman seems like a good woman. She moves on when she sees that she's wasting her time and apparently things are not getting anywhere. It's not a woman that has spread her legs before having the commitment. Then again, it's not a woman that, you know, goes on to the next thing in a matter of hours. She's actually been single for a year. This is a 19-year-old woman we're talking about, guys. She has been single for a full year because she hasn't found the right one. Isn't that amazing? In a society where women that age increase their body count by 10 with each passing year. It's fascinating, really. So what is your advice? Is she worth pursuing? Should this man win her over? Well, you let me know, gentlemen. But now, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me and Ampu. Please like and subscribe so this content can reach more men and I'll see you next time, guys. Have a good one.